How's it going, guys? And welcome to our new collection. This right here is our 60 stacker left shooter, and let's just dig right into it. Now this collection right here might go ahead and be a little bit fast release, and you're not really going to see a video every week. You're most likely going to see 3 or 4 videos every week, because this is something I actually already released. This right here is just kind of an update, because so many of you guys were not too happy with my older left shooting, because it didn't have a reusable SANCOM, and it's been kind of a thing for a couple of years now, so I thought it was about time that I started to upgrade the left shooters to actually have a reusable cogware. When that is said, let's go ahead and have a look at what we are going to do today. So since this right here is going to be our first video of this new collection, I kind of want to go through a couple of steps. The steps is pretty simple. The first thing we have to do is that we have to shoot into the wall, which means that you'll be looking at a base like this. We have to left shoot in this way right here. So we do need to cannon into this wall right here to make some kind of backboard so we can start left shooting. The second step is creating a backboard to rev on, which means that you need to create a backboard inside the wall so you can get some water down, because as soon as you start revving up right here, your backboard is going to disappear if you don't do it right. So what you need to make sure of is that you have a backboard that continues is going to work, especially when it's a 60 stacker. You do need to go quite far up to actually go to 255 or whatever you're actually reaching. So it's important that we get a backboard up right here that's going to work even though it's not water. Next step is getting water down and then creating some kind of backstack, because I assume that you will be shooting for some kind of spawners that are different coordinates than just YOLOing it and just go in whatever. The next one is starting to left shoot, and hopefully we'll be able to breach the base without much trouble. This right here will pretty much be the cannon, or the cannon that will be on your schematic. So now I'm going to make this the default settings for the cannon. So every time you do each of these single steps, I will reset the cannon, so you always know that these right here that's on your schematic is what we're going to change. So the first thing we need to change on this right here is that we need to straight shoot, which means we need to just normally shoot into this wall right here. So what we can do that, and we also need to make sure that we have the guider right here. So instead of having a slab right here, you can go ahead and replace with a copper or any 4 block pretty much. After that, we need to disable the left shooting part, which is this little clump right here. So what we need to do is that we need to disable it right here, as well as up here. Just remove this block. Once you've done that, the left shooting will be disabled. So this right here is the normal text we'll be using right now. This right here will be on your schematic. This is the schematic text you'll see on your cannon. What we need to do is we need to go back to normal, which is 3 ticks, which shouldn't be too much of a trouble. We're gonna need to do this on both sides, so make sure that you do this on this side right here as well on the other side. Once you have done that, the cannon should be ready to actually make a straight shoot. So go ahead and press the button, and we should be able to see that it's going to create a hole. Now I do want to warn you guys that this stacker right here does not have the biggest scatter, and that's because I can't fit anything right here. If I'm going to fit a big scatter right here, it's going to look very messy, and let's be honest, it's not really necessary for a 60 stacker, but maybe on the 80 stacker and up, I'll be able to make a bigger scatter. At least that's my goal, but for right now, you have to deal with this one because it's going to look really cancel if we actually do it different. Anyways, now that we have a hole in the wall, we can go ahead and have a look at how the wall looks like. So if you go in right here, you should see that if we go here, you can see how there's a block on top here, so you should be able to ref right off this. You have to shoot further in if you're looking for some kind of coordinates or whatever, but what you need to make sure of before you start revving up is that you have something that's flat, which means that this right here is not a fusion, so it goes into 2 blocks. So you were going to see these 2 lines right here. So the bottom one right here, when we change the text and whatever here in a second, will be the hammer, and then the slab was at the top. So what you're going to see if this right here is not flat, let's say that there's a hole right here. What it's going to do then is that the slab boss is going to be up here and the hammer here. So whenever this blows up, it's just going to blow it kind of like not straight up, but it's going to like go this way right here. And it's not really going to look as good, and it's not really going to be useful in any way. So you need to make sure that this right here is completely flat like we just did like this. So now that we have a hole in the wall, we need to start revving up. Now keep in mind, I've changed the text back to what it is on the schematic. So right here, you should be able to quickly go ahead and follow along right here, because this right here is the exact text that would be on your schematic. So let's go ahead and change this to a revving up. And what's really important now is that we use this right here and put these here on 0, like this. Now that this right here is on 0, we can start changing the backboard up a little bit. Now don't get too confused right here. We're going to remove the slab, and if you stand right here, you're going to place a trapdoor right there so that the TNT just can slide out right here. And this is because we need the slab boss to be on top and the hammer at the bottom. So right here you see how we made it. We have the trapdoor right here, which allows our slab boss to travel up. So right here will be the power, right here will be the power. Then what it's going to do is it's going to shoot the slab boss up right here and out on top of that trapdoor, and then it's going to land right here. The hammer will go underneath the trapdoor, which is going to make the hammer pretty much right there, but I just made it one below. And the reason we do this is because the slab boss have a total of 12 TNT, while the hammer has a total of 72 TNT. So if we switch these around and use the slab boss to fire the hammer up, it's not really going to work as efficient as we use it this way. So it's pretty important that you make sure that whatever has the most TNT, in this case it's the hammer, will always shoot something else up. In this case, the slab boss. So now that the cannon here is totally fine, we need to go ahead and disable the left shoot, which is down here. And we also need to take this block out. Now that that is done, we should be able to go ahead and actually rev up. You do need, if you're going to shoot way far up, you do need to add a few ticks to the slab boss, but that shouldn't really be necessary at the moment. So the next thing we're going to see now is that we're going to see this right here revving up, and let's go ahead and fire. I'm just going to YOLO this and just fix it up. If any issues occur when I do this, well then it's just good. So now that we revved up a little bit, you can see how straight line it is, which is perfect. This is exactly what we need. Let's go ahead and take a look at exactly how much down we have. So as you can see, there is quite far down there, and this is now time we can start putting delay on everything. So instead of everything blowing up right here, we are going to make sure that the TNT is going to stay like this, but it's going to have a lot of delay, so it starts dipping and dipping and dipping, and right here it's starting to blow up. Once it blows up right here, it most likely will take this out, but it will not take away your backboard, which is the one you're actually going to use. So if we go in here again, you can see that the backboard will still be alive, and it wouldn't have destroyed any blocks. So that's what we're going to do now. This is revving on a dry backboard, which shouldn't really be a problem. The only problem right now is that we need to find the right ticks. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to put 2 full repeaters right here. There we go. And once we have these 4 full repeaters, we should be able to actually go the full distance and also be able to get this sand to, the TNT to dip. Now this right here might be a risk to take, and let's go ahead and see if it actually pays off. And it looks like it actually did. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this looks like. We should still have a fully functioning backboard right here, as you can see. This is right here is completely flat, which is awesome. So what we could do now is that we can either go ahead and get the water down right now. We can start left shooting right off the bat. What we're going to do though, because the left shooting or the backboard right here is going to disappear after the first left shoot, because as you can see right here, we do have some issues because the wall is so close that the backboard will automatically disappear. So we're going to shoot one more time right here, and I'm going to use a fire command. And as you can see here in a second, the backboard will not disappear this time, which is absolutely awesome. So now we can get the water down without actually hurting anything, which is exactly what we want. Now the next step right here is going to be somewhat tricky, because now we're actually going to have to destroy a backboard. I'm going to show you that in a second, but go ahead and reset the cannon back to what it is on the schematic. So now that everything is back to what it is on the schematic, we're now ready to left shoot. And I quickly made this right here so I can exactly show you that our backboard is going to blow up here. And that's because on the first one right here, we're going to get a sand stack, which is going to be located right here. Now when this one blows up, of course it's going to go ahead and get rid of our backboard, which in that case we need to create a new one, but everything at one place. So right now let's just go ahead and try to left shoot. So our first left shooting is going to come in here in a second, and you will see that our backboard sadly is going to disappear. But no worries, we can go ahead and make ourselves a new backboard easily. So as you can see now, it accidentally blew up. Well, not really accidentally, it's kind of meant to. But let's go ahead and have a look. If you go inside the barrel and go out, you can see that we are no longer having a backboard. We were one block close though. If we were one down there, we should actually have been able to make it to a fully backboard, but that's not the case. So now we need to start actually creating a backboard, which is necessary for us being able to actually do this. So now, to quickly demonstrate to you where the barrel is and everything, I'm going to go ahead and place a bedrock where the barrel height is, so that way you know exactly where the barrel height is. So this right here is what we need. So as you can see, we're missing one block. These 2 blocks here is necessary for us to keep going. So what we need to do is that we need to start creating a backstack right here. But as you can see, the top block right here, where the red sand, where the normal sand is going to actually be if we change everything back to straight shoot, it's going to be right here, which in that case is going to actually go exactly underneath this, which is exactly what we want. So what we need to do now is that we quickly need to go ahead and change the cannon back to actually straight shooting, which is pretty simple. So you go ahead and take out this one right here, you go ahead and take away this one right here, you go ahead and change these ticks back to normal. So actually you don't really need to, because you're not going to use hammer, my bad, sorry about that. And what you need to do then is remove the scatter, and you need to disable the hammer and the slap boss, which is located there and over here. Once you've done that, all the TNT is now disabled, so the only thing that's going to come out is our normal sand right here. Now as you saw right here, if we make it go all the way up here, you can see that it's going to meet the one block we made right here, but we don't really want to do that. We want to go one block underneath, so we need to start creating a guider right here. So now it's going to go exactly underneath this top cobblestone block, which is exactly what we want. So now that you've done that, you can go ahead and you can do the same for the red sand, which is located right here. So go ahead and place it like that. Once you've done that, you should go ahead and actually be able to stack 2 at a time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we need to change up a little bit, but we can easily do that. So now that we've done that, let's go ahead and fire this cannon right here, as long as you're sure that everything doesn't have a TNT in it. So the hammer off, the scatter off, the slap burst off. Now we should be able to actually stack some sand. So now that you can see here, we're starting to stack sand. Let's go ahead and fire and keep firing this right here until we reach to a point where it's good to go. So let's go ahead and keep it going right here. What we need to do, what we're aiming for right here, is to make something plain. And your hole might not look like this, but you just need to keep going doing this until you actually get something flat you can use the left shoot on. So one more time, then we have this follow in right here, then we need to start at the bottom right here. We should be able to go ahead and get that in now, and we can continue this all the way up. And I'm just going to fire one more time so you can see it, and I'm going to build the rest. So this is what's going to look like. You're just going to keep one stacking until it reaches this point right here. Once you have reached this point right here, we are pretty much ready to left shoot again. So let's go ahead and change the cannon back to left shooting. So now that the cannon is now turned back to what is legitimate on the schematic, that is of course left shooting, we're now ready to continue. Just make sure that you have placed everything, including the guider here, so everything is exactly what it is on the schematic. Once you've done that, we're pretty much ready to go. So let's go ahead and take a shot. And here comes the shot in, and we should be able to see that it works perfectly. So as you can see, well, how you can check if this is actually going to work is that these holes here has to be the exact same size. So now that we've done that, oops, we can go ahead and we can continue. Let me undo that real quick, and we can fire again. So now we've done that, we can continue firing, and it's going to work for quite a while. It's going to work maybe 7-8 chunks out, but then you're going to need to change the hammer tick, which is located over here. So if you find it not working anymore, just quickly change one of these ticks or give it one more tick on the hammer, and it should be working all the way. So now that we are pretty much inside the base, there's one more wall to go. If we can load up the cannon at the same time, and we should have breached the base now. Now this right here is only in a small scale, so I'm quickly going to show you guys what you need to do if you see that the cannon is no longer working. So now that we are pretty far in, you can start to see here in a second how the hammer is kind of blowing up before it actually stacks the sand, and it will come in here in a second. I'm kind of showing you this so if you see this when you're using the cannon, you would know exactly what to do, and you wouldn't really be stopped and limited by the cannon's power. So now we reach the max length for this hammer ticks right here. So as you can see here in a second, you will see how the hammer is not really reaching, and it starts to stack right here. Now that is a problem, because now your hammer will blow up before it hits the wall along with the sand. It's a pretty easy fix. You can go extremely far with this left shooter, but all you gotta do is just whenever it stops to work, add one tick to each side right here, and then you can fire again. And if you find it stopping again, maybe after 10 chunks or whatever, add one more tick, and you can pretty much continue like that for pretty far. So as you can see, it's starting to work again, and it's going to work for quite a while now until we need to change the ticks again. But that is pretty much how the left shooter works. Hopefully you guys know how to use it properly now, and hopefully you guys get a good understanding on how you can create the backboard and stuff like that. And I think that would be pretty much it for this video here. Now, if you enjoyed, remember to like this video here and comment down below what you think of this new collection. But most of all, guys, make sure to check out my Discord giveaway, where I've given away over 100 things from different servers, and it's 100% free to take part of. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys. My name is Dexter, and I'm out.